So let's talk about the real estate market for a minute. Not bragging, just giving you market conditions. I talked to my daughter last night. She had a listing in South Tampa on her street. Put it on the market on Tuesday, had 4 showings, got a full price offer. Had 10 showings the next day. Ended up with multiple offers and an escalation clause with 40,000 over asking price. What the heck is that? Welcome. It's the beginning of spring selling season, guys. What should we be focused on doing? The answer is getting listings. That is the key. I'm just checking the audience list here. Not there yet. Very cool. All right, so let's talk about listings for change while I'm waiting. The source of that was farming, geographic neighborhood, getting to know your neighbors, talking to them about moving, and what caused that move. It was the arrival of a new child, and they want a bigger house. So that's what's happening. So you got to get in their faces and find out what's going on. And that's one way. So geographic farming, knowing the neighborhood, get out there and talk to people. Number 2, we're getting lots of success with RSP mailings. Customers are interested in what's going on in the market. They're clicking to see what their homes are worth. What they're going to do with it, we don't know. But RSP mailings are a way to get things done. That's another one. Regular mailings work, just listed, just sold calls work. Open houses, prospecting around your open houses is basically farming, talking to your neighborhood, trying to find ways of people that want to get their houses sold. For sale by owners are people that really need help. They simply can't generate the exposure that we can generate, and they're doing themselves a disservice by trying to sell it themselves. They're all proud. Yes, consistency works. Lauren, I'm happy with RSP, wonderful way to farm and beat the heat. Yeah, that's true. Neighborhood news is awesome. And all these things are continual. So it's kind of like if we start it now, we can, it's like my garden. I'll show you a picture of my garden. If I didn't plant the seeds 90 days ago, I wouldn't have produce now. Right? So we got to start now. And this is the beginning. Here's the way it works. I was talking to one of my neighbors this morning. It's April. We're going to crank April, May, June, July, August. And it's going to slow down in September. This is just what's happened over the years, right? Slow down in September. But is our closing going to slow down? No, because our July and August open business is going to close in September and October. So we're going to feel the slowdown in November and December, right? Which is why we have a slowdown in the first quarter, because we have a slowdown at the end of the fourth, and that's when the closings happen. So, still checking the list here. So that means you've got really, well, we got about 8 months of a strong selling season we're heading into. No, not 8, 6. 6 months of a super strong selling season. So I would encourage everybody to get into it now and pick your thing. Expired listings, absentee owners, all the things we've been touching with our mastermind for the last really 2 quarters have been leading up to this. We got you conditioned and used to talking to people, reaching out to strangers and becoming less strange. And having those leads is critically important. I don't know if he's going to show it up as Jordan or Dr. Axe. I don't know yet, but he'll come in soon. I will share some other news with you just for fun. Greg Sexton, who's the chief operating officer of Century 21, was in town yesterday, and Jeff and I had lunch with him at the Riviera Dunes Dockside restaurant. And I was there early, and so was he. So we cruised the docks. Oh my gosh, you guys. Sometimes, you know, you gotta get out of your neighborhood and see what's going on. That marina was full on full. I mean, incredibly full. Like no room for any extra boats. And they were filled with massively, I mean, the biggest one was well over 100 feet. But there are a lot of 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. And I saw one, the first time I just read about Boating Magazine last week, and they came up with a 600 horsepower outboard engine. And this boat had 4 of them on them. That had to be a $100,000 engine. It's a $2 million boat. Crazy stuff out there. And that's what's happening with the renaissance of our neighborhood. So using my daughter's sale we were just talking about, that's a $500 something thousand sale. What does that buyer now, that neighborhood, you know, a couple of years ago was a $200,000 neighborhood. Now it's a $500,000 neighborhood. So what happens with what does the $500,000 buyer have more of than the $200,000 buyer? Typically cash. So what do they generally do? They take care of their house. They re-landscape it, they put in sprinkler systems, they renovate, they put on new roofs, they do all that stuff. So that's what's happening in all of Tampa Bay, is we're seeing improvements coming because the people that are buying in this area are buying from out of the area, and they're coming in with cash from different places, and they're investing it in our market. So you can see every neighborhood is getting cleaned up, which is driving the values even higher. Kathleen sent me an article yesterday from Keeping Current Matters talking about why home prices aren't falling, because everything indicates that home prices should be falling, but they're not. And why are they not? Because they're valued. They're valued. And people from other areas see the value more than we do because we get spoiled by being here. So the real reason that we're not seeing prices drop is because of supply and demand. There's no supply and there's lots of demand. And yesterday, Jeff and Mike and I did a podcast on the home buyer equity play we're doing. There he is, I think. Dr. X, is that you, Jordan? We're two panelists. It works.
All right. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Okay. Morning.
Morning.
Well, I'm glad
nice.
that,
I called your office yesterday to confirm you were coming, and Sierra answered the phone. I haven't seen her in a while.
yeah.
And I said, "Hey, it's Craig Beckins," and I said, "I'm a Century 20. I know who you are, Craig." Cool.
Yeah, we miss seeing you around.
Yeah, I've been talking to Dr. Benner every once in a while, and you can see him again. But
Yeah.
for me, so far, so good.
Yeah, I just was overhearing you. I'm glad I own a house, and I've been every year putting money into my house. So
Wonderful.
yeah, love it.
Well, let me just give you a quick little pitch. I mean, just for fun. Do you know what a HELOC is?
Yes, I recently got one actually.
All right, that's our message right now. Is everybody should get a HELOC. Not that they have to use it, but you should have it, just in case an opportunity comes up. And we really owe it to ourselves to take care of our assets that have taken such good care of us. So
Yeah.
because there are maintenance, we got to take care of them.
Yeah, no, love it. Cool. I can share my screen, I guess, here, and then
Yeah, you can turn your camera on too if you brushed your teeth and hair this morning.
I don't know if I did or not. Yeah. Let's see. I tried to hit start video. You cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, I got to do something else. Hold on. Let me just boom. I'll make you a co-host. You were a panelist. Now you're a co-host.
Hey, Craig, how you doing, buddy?
Excellent.
Awesome. Just want to stop and say hi.
Hey, Dr. Benner.
Hey, brother. All right, I'll let you gentlemen alone. I got to run, but good to see you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Let's start.
So let's give you a little intro, because we hire
Yeah.
a lot of people, new people. Some people have seen you before, some people haven't. But you own a shop called Axe Holistic Medicine, right? And you're more of a functional medical doctor.
Yep.
And I think that I wrote this in an email to the team last night. You really focus on avoiding the disease rather than treating it. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, exactly. It's right. Conventional medicine has been right. It's diagnose and then give you a surgery or drug based on the diagnoses.
Mhm.
Right. The problem is that that's not how the body works. These things are everything works with everything. So when you try to oversimplify it and sum up your problem with one word, one diagnosis, it just oversimplifies and you just miss the entire problem. So we try to figure out what is actually going wrong, and we treat the root cause, not just the symptom. So there's normally a lot of factors that play into how you're feeling and what your condition you're experiencing. So we find out what those reasons are and we treat those one by one, right? A doctor can diagnose you with depression and give you, right, one word, depression, one drug, antidepressant, right?
Mhm.
What we do is we say, okay, well, you're depressed or your mood or whatever your condition is, okay, why do you specifically have that? Okay, you're depressed because you have a lot of bad relationships in your life. Okay, number two, you're not making serotonin because your gut microbiome is not producing serotonin. Number three, right, your blood sugar's off because the way you're eating, and it's throwing all your hormones off. Now your hormones are jacked up, causing you to be moody and depressed, right? So now we've identified 3 causations. Now we can treat those one by one and actually fix how you're feeling instead of just oversimplify it during medication, right?
Makes a lot of sense.
That's right. It makes a lot of sense. It's a very simple concept that, right. But the thing is that takes time, effort to go through all the, sometimes to treat those things, taking a pill is a lot easier than actually fixing your life. Right. But you have to fix your life to do it the right way.
That's right. Hey, just a little kudos to you. And I know you got doctor-patient confidentiality stuff, but I know a couple of our agents that have been seeing you. And one in particular told me that since she's seen you, her weight has gone down dramatically. She's not taking any pills. She was taking, cholesterol medication. She was taking blood pressure medication. She was taking all this other stuff. She's now off all that medication, feels fantastic, looks fantastic. So that's kind of the goal, right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mhm.
So, well, yeah, I know as a, real estate, you're always on the go. Every day is different. Like it's a little hard to become habitual, I would say, kind of in that field, as far as diet and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not easy, but it's well worth it. When you're like that testimonial, you're off medications, you're feeling better. I mean, it's 100% worth doing anything to feel
Yeah.
better.
And I wrote the note to the agents last night. I said, wealth is no good without health. And a lot of our agents are working really hard. I mean, some of these guys are doing 6, 8, 9, 10 deals a month. And when
Yeah,
you're doing that kind of business, you don't have time. I mean, they're stopping at fast food places to get food. They're eating crap.
yeah,
It's an effort to, cook. A friend of mine, he says, Craig, I've been going out like every night. It's not good for me.
no.
It's not.
Yeah, I think about Steve Jobs, right? He
Yeah.
had tons of wealth. He had tons of everything, right?
Yeah.
But he waited too long. And once that disease set in, he didn't have the right people in his corner. He died. I mean, he couldn't, so you got to start investing a little bit in your health, or that money or whatever you built up is just going to go out the drain.
That's right.
You got to be smart about it, So cool. Well, I want to kind of talk. Is there anything in particular you wanted to talk about today?
No, I think this is a great topic. The journal
Okay.
answer because it's
Yeah,
adrenal glands.
especially as a business owner, real estate, adrenal fatigue and hormone issues is very prevalent because you're burning, the candle at both ends. Burns out your adrenal hormones, which eventually burns out your male and female hormones. So let's kind of view. Let's do. Can you guys see that okay? Do I need to make that bigger?
It's fine. I mean, I can see. I mean, people on their phones probably having a hard time, but there you go.
Okay. So let's talk about are hormones causing your issues, why your blood work is normal, but you don't feel normal. 5 steps to correct hormonal issues in the top tests that we run. So kind of already hit on this already. A lot of times, doctors are running tests to look at emergencies, not major disease. That's why a lot of our patients, their doctor said everything's normal, right? But things are not normal. They're not feeling optimal. So one reason is common blood tests show you what's in your blood, but not what's actually going on a cellular level, right? This is very true with hormones. It could be in your blood, right? This is very true. Like you think about blood sugar. Well, you need to burn the sugar, but in diabetes, the sugar is stuck outside the cell. It's not getting into the cell, right? So you're not using it and it's stuck. So that's why looking at blood, you might like, oh, your testosterone looks normal. Well, it's not getting into your cell and utilized. So that's why you're having those symptoms. So that's why regular blood work is really not that accurate. We use it, but we have other tests just by looking at your symptoms, your history, more advanced testing, where we can actually figure out what's going on. So most of our patients have normal blood work coming in, but we're still able to identify issues. So what are the signs of low hormones? Could be brain fog, low motivation, weight loss resistance, fatigued, pain, right? You need hormones to heal, right? And feel good. Anxiety, depression, even hair loss, even different skin conditions as well. So, what are the, we're gonna keep this short, but I want to go over the steps to really overcome this. Number one, and this is the order that things should be treated in. And a lot of people that have seen other holistic doctors, the complaint I've heard is they go in, they get some testing, and then they just take these 100 supplements, right? It's just like this big
Yep.
kind of thing thrown at you. But really, we try to organize it into the correct order. Okay. First, you have to treat the gut. Okay. Then you have to clear the liver. Then you have to clear the toxins. Then you have to rebuild your adrenals. Then you optimize your hormones. Okay. The reason that you do it in this order is because if your gut is imbalanced, you're going to be absorbing a bunch of toxins, and you're going to be just making toxins by your, I mean, you think about like if you get gassy, right? That's like a toxin because your bacteria is not right, and it's like fermenting what you're eating, creating toxicity, okay? And gas, you're making toxins internally. So you got to get the gut right so you can get rid of toxins and so you don't make toxins, okay? Because your liver is what gets all that junk out of your body. Your liver is, if it's burdened by gut issues, it will not have the time and ability to convert your hormones, okay? So once the gut is right, now you can boost your liver function so it can optimize and convert all your hormones, get rid of the junk, right? If your liver's not getting rid of the junk, you're basically building up junk and sludge, and everything starts to slow down. You get tired. Everything is inefficient, right? So then you have to clear the liver.
Well, let's talk about, if you don't mind, let's go back
Yeah.
to gut imbalance. What are some symptoms? How would I know if I have gut imbalances?
Yeah.
Would it be, is it,
Yeah, gut really does a lot of like energy,
Mhm.
because it takes a lot of energy to assimilate food.
Like
Okay?
there's a lot of commercials on the radio and stuff that I hear for, Align probiotics.
Yeah.
Got like something probiotic help avoid gut imbalances, or should we medicate ourselves with stuff like that by listening to the radio, or are there tests to see if your gut is
Yeah,
imbalanced?
yeah. I mean, Align is kind of marketed. It's not that great of a product, to be honest. It's okay, but that's just one piece of the gut microbiome, I always thought gut health is kind of like a relationship. It's got to kind of all work together, and there's a lot of different elements to it, right? A probiotic is just one piece of it. So, but yeah, gut, it's going to be your immune system lives in the gut, so any autoimmune condition is going to be related. Energy levels, right? Hormone conversion. I mean, almost everything, but those are some of the big ones. So,
And that's like the hardest one to cure, or is the most important one to cure in the beginning?
so most important, yeah, in the beginning.
Because that's like where everything starts.
Yeah. I think if you're working with someone that knows what they're doing, I don't think it's that difficult. It's just like, especially if you do a comprehensive stool test, which we're going to jump in here in a minute. You just get the results and you fix this, and you're done. It's, if you have the right person, the results, it's not that complicated.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, then you clear the liver, right? And then now over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you've built up heavy metals, mercury, pesticides, right? That's all just kind of sitting in your body, and it basically blocks hormone receptors, causes a lot of issues in the body. So then it's like, let's do a little house cleaning, and then now let's detox and let's get all the junk out. Let's house clean, okay? Once we do that, everything is set. Now, once you do this, a lot of times you don't even have to treat the hormones because you've addressed the root cause. Now your hormones fix themselves, right? So, but as you get older, sometimes it's been chronic enough that your body still needs some help, right? So then you start to get into the adrenals, which has to do with your cortisol, circadian rhythm, things like that. And then you optimize your hormones. Then if you're still having symptoms, now we can maybe bioidentical testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, some of these things that a lot of people are starting to go to now for hormones. But that, I would say only 20% of people have to even do that. By the time we get to the hormone optimization, all their goals are already met. And it's actually, they don't even want to do it. They don't even need it anymore.
Nice.
So, All right, so let's kind of jump into these real quick. We kind of talked about them, right? The gut microbiome. A lot of people have heard of leaky gut. When you irritate and inflame the gut from processed foods, from stress, crappy water, whatever it might be, all those things damage the gut lining. And now microorganisms and toxins can actually get through that and they get into the bloodstream. You're supposed to have a tight, healthy gut that does not allow these things to happen, but they get in the blood. Now you start to have autoimmunity, nutrient malabsorption, food intolerances, blood-brain barrier issues, brain fog, right? And just systemic inflammation. So you can see why this should be treated first, because how important it is, all these issues it can cause, okay? Here's one of my original stool results from a long time ago. I had no idea at H. pylori. I had 6.3 to the 5th power. It was very high, right? And then my good bacteria was high. So I was one of the exceptions where I took probiotics. I felt worse. I'd get gassy and it wasn't even helping. I couldn't figure out why. Well, it's because my bacteria was too high and I had H. pylori. H. pylori stops the production of stomach acid. Stomach acid is how you break down your protein, and it's actually what kills pathogenic bacteria, okay? So because from years and years of stress, of school and staying up late and all that stuff, stomach acid production just shut down. I had food undigested that was fermenting and overgrowing. The bacteria was growing, right? And this kind of caused a cascade of issues. So for me, I had to treat everything on my stool test. But if I had caught this early and just increased my stomach acid, I probably could have avoided, this cascade of issues. So this is just one example of how a stool test can show us what your problem is and exactly how to treat it, right? So I did 60 days of antimicrobials to clear out the overgrowth. I did an H. pylori protocol, right? And then for another 60 days, I cleared out inflammation. I got the other back, it was just a couple month process, right? And I was able to get all these markers balanced.
Wow.
So, yeah. Yep. So I had, and then you can see calprotectin, that's inflammation at the bottom. So I had to clear out the inflammation. And there's some other intestinal health markers I had to work on. I wasn't digesting my fats properly. So this just gives you the entire roadmap of steps to treat the gut, right? Now, not everyone needs a stool test. Sometimes we've just been doing this so long, we can just look at your symptoms and what you're eating. We can kind of already guess what we need to do. 80–90% of people, we kind of know what to do. And then sometimes, hey, we're having a little bit of a roadblock. Hey, whoa, let's just do a stool test real quick. I think we're missing something. So they're a little expensive, $300 something. So sometimes we can, through clinical knowledge, do or not do a stool test. So, liver clearing, right? Once we do that, we jump into the liver. You have phase 1 and phase 2, right? And there's certain nutrients that are needed here at the bottom to basically, we don't do hardcore liver cleanses because those are hard on the body. We basically just give your body a bunch of these nutrients that it needs and support it with diet and just kind of supercharge your liver and let it do what it does, but to a higher level. So it's very easy. It's a 30-day thing. It's a couple products you take and it's like simplest thing ever, right? You can put those in your cup holder in your car and just when you get in your car, take them, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So I really like our liver protocol because it just if you do the gut right, the liver is simple. It's a 30-day kind of in and out process.
But you're saying do one, cure that, then do the other, cure that, then do the other.
Well, yeah, there's a product we use that does phase 1, which is fat soluble toxins, and then phase 2 is water soluble. So it's just two.
What's the thing about what's it called? Milk thistle. A lot of my drinking buddies say take milk thistle, keeps your liver healthy.
Yeah, that can help. I think that's part of phase 2. But the point is here, you got to make sure you support both sides, because sometimes people just take milk thistle or whatever it is, and they're only supporting half of the liver process. So we make sure we give people everything for both sides of the phases.
Who decided to make all your words so complicated?
Oh, yeah, like medical words.
Blue coral donation. Oh, my God.
Yeah, yeah. Those are some hard ones. I can't produce that well. So, all right. So we talked about gut imbalancing. We talked about liver clearing. Let's just quickly talk on toxicity. Toxins trigger immune responses. They block your hormones, right? Where your hormone needs to attach to your cell, toxins will actually get stuck inside there and you can't even activate the cell, right? It's like a key to open a door. If someone goes and puts a bunch of toothpicks in there, you got the key, can't open the door because someone put a bunch of junk in there. That's how toxins work. And if you block your hormones, you in essence cause weight loss resistance.
Well, let's talk about toxins. What are toxins? I mean, they're everywhere.
Oh yeah. And that's why I tell people God gave us a liver and we're able to pee and poop and stuff like that, so we can get rid of toxins. That's not the problem. The problem is if your gut and your liver don't work right, you can't effectively remove them. Okay. The second side of the coin is if your body was designed to process 100 toxins a day, but you're giving it 150 toxins a day, that's the problem, right? So if you can just only consume 100 toxins a day instead of 150, you can get ahead of this thing, right? Using better cookware, eating more, meats that are grass-fed and they're not eating pesticides all the time that you're eating. You're drinking better water, it doesn't have chlorine in it and toxin, all kinds of crap in it, right? So it's just about making better decisions and trying to consume and breathe, can just consume less toxins.
So you're a proponent of like organic vegetables.
Yeah.
The organic carrots are more expensive than regular carrots.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's not about being perfect and living in a bubble and not being exposed to toxins. It's just about trying to reduce those toxins in the areas that you can. Just try to reduce your load. So again, we can talk about that for hours. Your skincare, what are you cooking with? What are you eating? What are you breathing? It's just the list goes on and on. So, but another good resource, if you go to our website, on our blog, we have different articles. I think we have one on toxicity, maybe. Oh, Forever Chemicals. This talks a little bit about that one. We just posted that. Some paleo recipes, right? Which is a low inflammation diet. So when you're trying to heal the gut, I love paleo. We got recipes here for that.
And your website is axholisticmedicine.com.
Yeah. And then, paleo, we got another paleo. How to heal the gut through supplementation. We were just talking about the gut. I wrote a little article on what we just talked about there. If you want to learn a little bit more about exactly what we just talked about. Mold, right? A lot of people are living in moldy homes, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, a lot of good stuff on there. This Zoom thing is stuck in my way. I'm trying to move the screen.
I know
What the heck? Okay, there we go. All right. We do a hair or urine heavy metal test. And the crazy thing is this person had lead, mercury, and we went through this process. We did a heavy metal detox. Their thyroid response, their brain commuting to their thyroid increased by 8 times, and their testosterone went from 6 to 16. It tripled. So that just shows you the power. All I did, they didn't change their diet or do anything. We'd already done all that. All they did was a heavy metal detox. And it, right? Remember I said how toxins block your hormones and cause brain issues. So this was the coolest example I'd ever seen of thyroid response going by 8 times and testosterone tripling just from detoxing. Right.
So what does a detox, heavy metal detox look like?
So we do a kind of a 3-step process. It's glutathione, which is what your liver needs to bind and remove toxins. It's a binder we use something that's got like a mix of like apple fiber, maybe a little bit of charcoal, kind of a mix of different binders. And then the third thing is fragmented zeolites. That's the main ingredient. A zeolite is a small porous structure you put under your tongue, gets into the bloodstream, passes the cell membrane because it's really tiny. It'll actually get into your cell and pull heavy metals out, right? You pull it out in the blood, then the charcoal and apple fiber, can bind in your gut, pull it out. The glutathione can speed that up, right? So it's like we just do those three things and they kind of all work together to just get the stuff out more quickly.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, that's a pretty easy protocol as well. You can do that working 70 hours a week, if you just put it by your dresser or whatever. So I would say the gut is the, maybe trickier part, but the liver clearing, the heavy metal, those are 60-day protocols that as long as you put the products by your dresser in your car in the right place, doesn't take you any time at all. So that's kind of the cool thing. So the last thing, adrenal and hormones. Your adrenals have to do with circadian rhythm. All right, let's just look at a graph here. Adrenals, your main adrenal hormone is your cortisol. This graph here shows that when you wake up, cortisol should go up. In the afternoon, it should drop a little bit, and then at nighttime, it should drop even more. Okay, it needs to drop so you can sleep. It needs to go up so you can wake up. A lot of times, people from stress, they're shooting up really high, and then it's not dropping appropriately, and then they're having a hard time sleeping. If you're stuck here for years and years, it will actually do the opposite. It'll drop and it won't go up. You'll have a really hard time getting started in the morning. And by the time you get started is around the time you should be going to bed. And your whole energy sleep pattern is now upside down. Okay. We're able to actually fix this with herbs. We can give things like phosphatidylserine will double your cortisol. We can give other binding agents that will get your cortisol down. So we have different herbs to boost things up or pull things down to manually get your circadian rhythm back into balance. So sometimes if it gets upside down, your brain's stuck, herbally, we can push it back in the right direction, okay? So on this graph, you can see cholesterol turns into pregnenolone, right? But when you're under high stress, this gets stolen and gets converted into cortisol, your stress hormone. If it gets converted to cortisol, it can't go down to DHEA and eventually make it. This is why people have low T, low estrogen, things like that, is because their adrenals and their stress levels are pushing things to cortisol instead of testosterone, etc. Okay. So we look at this and we do a full hormone panel and we look at this entire thing. Because guess what happens if you just look at testosterone and you don't look at DHEA, you don't look at pregnenolone, cortisol. I mean, you're so blind, you have such ignorance as far as what's actually going on. You might try to treat that, and because you didn't see all the other hormones, you actually make yourself worse. So we run a panel, we look at this whole thing, and we balance the whole picture here, right? A lot of times we get cortisol down, we get DHEA up, boom, everything starts to funnel into testosterone. Now you double your testosterone without taking any hormones,
Wow.
right? So it doesn't work like that for everyone, but what's that?
And taking hormones is complicated, right? It's like a science.
Like I said, if you go to the end and you take one of these, you could actually make yourself worse. Just this morning, and I'm coming over there for this evening.
Lauren said, which metals did you mention a few slides ago? It was
I have a 4. You have to schedule it appropriately, like at 4:30 or.
You'll make it ring.
I've been patient at 4, so 3:30 or 4:45.
Okay.
Sorry, what's that?
no, there's a question online. What metals were the heavy metals you were talking about? It was lead and something else.
Oh, yeah, lead, mercury, aluminum.
Those are the three that were on that test that were high.
Yep. Yeah.
lead, mercury, and thallium. And aluminum. Those are the 4 high ones.
So some of the main tests that we do to look at this is the Dutch or the ZRT. That's a urine or saliva that will show us an entire, that's a snippet of this test. This is just one of 5 pages, but it'll show us your circadian rhythm. It'll show you dihydrotestosterone, free testosterone. It'll show us like 4 different testosterones versus just 1. So it'll show us 9 types of estrogen instead of just 1. So this is if you really want to look at your hormones in depth, on a cellular level, this is the test. Organic acids test. I know we've done this with you as well. This will show us neurotransmitters. If you have bacterial overgrowth in your gut, glutathione levels, B vitamin levels, different comprehensive stool testing. I showed you guys a picture of my personal test and how beneficial that is. And then we still do regular blood work because that's covered by insurance. So if we can get something for free, we might as well, get that information. And we can still look at some basic hormone markers. We can look at your endocrine system. We can look at inflammatory markers through the blood work. So these are kind of my top 4 that we utilize a lot.
So if I was coming to see you for the first time, would I just do all 4 at one time, or to do one, work on it, then do another, and then do another, and then do another, or just? Because I've done the Dutch test, I've done the organic.
No, not everyone needs all these. A lot of people maybe just need 1. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people, we just start basic with some blood work and a history. We kind of know clinically, we treat a few things, and if everything goes well, we just keep moving through this list. Work on your gut health. Hey, let's clear the liver. And if you just keep progressing, we might not need these tests, right? So the tests are more if you're a more difficult case or we're running into a roadblock. So, but yeah, we're actually launching a program right now with Dr. Binner, myself, and our health coach, where you kind of have access to all of us. It's a 6-month program, and everything that we talked about, we pretty much get through that entire thing in 6 months. And instead of meeting with us every couple months and forgetting your protocol and screwing, like now we're like, hey, we want to be with people every couple of weeks just for 20 minutes and make sure everything's done correctly, make sure we're adjusting things. And it's actually a little bit cheaper because our health coach is running it versus one of the doctors. You get the same protocols, the same access to us. We still have team meetings every morning going over patient results. You get the exact same quality, but we're trying to make it, with the recession, we're trying to make it a little bit more support for the same price, essentially. So that's something that we're launching right now too, is our health coach program. And we go through all this. So yeah, just kind of give our office a ring. Kate and Janie take our new patient calls, and they'll get a little bit of history and decide kind of what doctor's best for you. Me, Dr. Benner, Dr. Bailey. So we're all kind of, but we keep it simple. We just start with a good paperwork, good solid history, and we learn about you, and then we put an actual plan of attack together. Do you need testing? Yes or no? And what protocols should you start on? What diet? Stuff like that.
A question online: are you pretty successful at getting patients off blood pressure and cholesterol medications? Symptoms were caused from an autoimmune disorder.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely really good at autoimmune. I had an autoimmune disease. That's how I got into this field. So I used to do webinars just like this, just on autoimmune disease. But yeah, very effective at finding the cause and resoluting autoimmune disease. And then if you address the causation, blood pressure is going to go back to normal, cholesterol is going to go back to normal. So yeah, I would say those are things that we deal with on a daily basis.
Do you have a second office, or just the one in North Tampa? Just the one in North Tampa.
Yeah, but since the pandemic, we're 50% telemedicine now. So I have, moms that have 3 kids and they live 5 minutes down the street and they prefer to do telemedicine. I like that, it's like good to see people in person, but a lot of people, just because they're busy or they're driving or whatever, are doing telemedicine now. So
Well, that's the next question. Clinton lives in Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
Do you take remote patients? And the answer
Oh,
is yes.
absolutely. Yeah. We have people from California to Maine to I got a Dubai patient, a Spain patient. So yeah, and doing this remotely is just as easy. Our supplements you order yourself online. The testing gets shipped directly if you need it. All of our resources are links in a Google Drive that we share with you, so you have it all in your email. So yeah, it's not a problem.
You want to type your office phone number in the chat? Joe, I just Googled actualistic medicine, and popped right up, but
Yeah.
it's right behind me, so the chat's open, so.
Yeah. 813-563-7668. But yeah, just Google comes right up.
I don't even carry business cards anymore. What's your number? Just Google me.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, look, we got some pretty cool, good review, Google reviews and
Well, let's just talk a little bit, not offline, but and nothing against medical doctors, but some of the things I've heard about medical doctors is they're pill pushers, and they're all synthetic drugs. There's not natural stuff they're forcing down your throat, right? They're
Right.
just giving you drugs, and a lot of those drugs cause side effects that were not intended to be done that way. And the big challenge, and you can confirm or deny, but a lot of medical doctors are never trained on nutrition.
not at all.
Isn't
No.
that crazy? I mean,
I remember my dermatologist, it was skin issues that got me into the health field. And it was skin issues, eczema, psoriasis, acne. That's what led me to get blood work to even figure out that I had an autoimmune disease. But my dermatologist said, "Oh, no, your diet has nothing to do with this." I was like, even like a 5-year-old knows if you eat the wrong things, you could break out a rash or whatever, Like if a 5-year-old knows that, I have this MD dermatologist telling me that's untrue. I'm like, this is ridiculous, So,
I went to I had to get my colonoscopy, just at age, and my blood pressure was super high at that doctor's office. And he scared the hell out of me, and he told me to go to a cardiologist. And I went to the cardiologist, and they didn't know me from anybody, barely asked me any questions, prescribed 2 different blood pressure medications, and they made me so friggin' sick.
Yeah.
It's the only change I did, and they made me sick. So I called his office, and the nurse talked to him, and she came back, said, I talked to the doctor. He said, double the dose. And I said, no effing way.
Yeah.
Threw them away. And they were so cheap too, because the pharmacy companies, they pay for all that. So these are like $4 prescriptions, and I've got my protocols from you guys, and they're not cheap,
Right.
but your system's really, that full script system is really nice.
Yeah. But it's like anything in life, right? Anything worth having takes time and energy. If it's easy and cheap, it's probably crap.
Yeah.
So, and you got to always tell people follow the money trail, right? That's pharmaceutical. There's a lot of money in that. You're getting pushed towards what makes people money.
Yeah, my copay is $4, but the drug is $127.
Yeah.
So the insurance company's paying the pharmacy the $127, but I'm only paying this way insurance $4. And
again, it's just human nature, right? Okay, the system is I can spend 4 minutes with you, I can prescribe you 3 things, and we're going to make $500 a month on these medications. That's pretty good. Or I can spend an hour with the patient, go over lifestyle recommendations, dive deep into their testing, spend an hour and make $0.
right.
They're gonna buy the stuff at the grocery to do it on their own. Right? It's like, it's just money is what it comes down to. It's a money making model. It's not a get you healthy model.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't remember what I paid. I think I signed up for 6 months of treatment, and I'd come to see you like every week. And you included chiropractic in that, whatever program I got from you.
yeah.
It was kind of fun. I enjoyed that process.
Yeah, we're relaunching that program because we kind of went to just a la carte, people are like, oh, I don't want to be stuck into anything. And I get that, but we're getting not as good results now because when you get accountability is so important. So when you're like, hey, I got to do this, I have this appointment in 2 weeks, it's due then. If I don't, I'm going to lose my money or whatever. it's human nature. You need that push, you need that accountability. Oh no, I'll just reschedule in 2 months, I'll get it done. You kick the can down 5 years later, you're where you started, right? That's why I think we're trying to get back to more accountability there, you know?
Yeah, Dr. Bender was really tough on me because I sit at a computer a lot all day and my shoulders are hunched over like this. And so I go see him and he's constantly saying, pull your shoulder blades back, give me doorway exercises to go through and just really holistic stuff that just makes sense.
Yeah,
As opposed to, you know, because I see older people and I walk around, you know, all hunched over like this and that could be prevented.
oh, absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
jumping on the chiropractic side there, but
Let's see, yes, services, we have our spinal program. So people want to just research on that service tab a little bit more, what we do there as far as regenerative medicine, cervical decompression, flexion distraction, decompression. We work on, you know, we use Beamer technology, vibration therapy, chiropractic, physical therapy. We kind of holistic, right? We put all that stuff together to overcome pain and joint issues and stuff like that. So, but Craig, what else I'm going to do for you guys? You guys have been so good to me, and everyone that comes in is always such great patients. I have a $50 gift card. I'll email you.
Okay.
Then you can send to everybody, and they can use that for whatever service they need in our clinic.
so what was the basic service? What would you recommend for the general person? Let's say, you know, everybody's got fatigue. We're in the real estate business. We're stressed a lot, right? So that's one thing we all are dealing with. But a lot of us have spinal issues and different things. So what's the basic normal person kickoff protocol for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you live somewhat close to the office and you're having a lot of pain, I think that's a good place to start with. Number one, those services are a little bit more covered with insurance. If you're in pain all the time, you're always going to be stressed. You can't be in pain and not be stressed. It's a physical pain stress, right? So I do think that if that is a major issue for you, pain, and you live drivable from the office, I would start there.
Just for reference, it's about a 30-minute drive from the Apollo Beach office to your office. It's just literally 75 to Fowler and you get off and make your way to Bruce B. Downs. So it's not a big, long drive.
But that's it. Well, I think I have a patient here, so I'm gonna run, but let me send you that gift card.
Okay.
I can answer maybe one or two last questions real quick. You guys have any?
Is the initial visit covered by insurance? The answer is no. I know that one.
Sometimes for chiropractic it is. We still like do a deposit and then we run your benefits. If it's covered, then yeah, you're covered. But for functional medicine, that new patient appointment is like an hour because we gotta go through your entire history, like diet, we gotta go through everything, right? Order things. So we charge $225 for that initial. And then follow-ups around like 160. So, but again, those aren't like every week. Those might be every couple months. So I tell you, hey, if you can budget $80 a month for these appointments, that's pretty much it.
Angela, I'm very interested in setting up a visit and sending gift cards to people. I'm in pain all the time with my low back. Great info today. Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah. So anyways, I think a lot of the public doesn't recognize that there's alternatives to normal Western medicine.
Yeah, they don't know, or they think it's voodoo, or yeah, you know, they had a bad experience or whatever. Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that got some really, really good results from you guys. So, and if you want to take care of everybody in a natural way, this is a good way to do it. And like I said in the beginning, wealth without health is no good. Right. So,
Amen. Yeah,
What
so I
did I say?
encourage everyone, just make it this year, you know, make it a priority. Again, you don't have to put your job to the side. It's just carve out 20-30 minutes a day, you know, and put some effort into your health, and that can save you a lot of time and heartache, you know, down the road.
one more just popped in. No, initials not covered. Didn't think about going to a gastroenterologist. That's another thing. I'm gonna pop some pills into you, but I think what Dr. Axe is saying is I'd rather find out what's causing the gastrointestinal problems and solve
And
that.
GI doctors pretty much, there's some MDs I like and there's some that I just think are just ridiculous. GI doctors are just ridiculous. Hey, you have inflammation in your gut. Well, no crap. That's the whole reason I'm freaking here. And now you're just telling me I have inflammation in my gut, you know, some fancy word for it, and then they don't do anything.
Mhm.
So we do the stool testing or diet or whatever, and we actually figure out why is the gut irritated? Why is there polyps? Why is there hemorrhoids? and we actually fix the microbiome so that it goes away. And a GI doctor is never going to do that. They don't even know how to read the stool testing that I run. And they're a GI doctor. I'm like, how do you guys not know how to read this?
That's scary.
I have patients go, let me bring this to my GI doctor. I just blows my mind. They can't
Do you have protocols to help with diabetes? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
My daughter, who is an IM resident at Tampa General Hospital, is always skeptical, said, oh, I've heard of him. And she agreed with your slides. That's big from her. It's big when you find a nurse. One of the women I walk with in here in the morning, she's a nurse. And she takes all these protocols, natural supplements. It's very weird to see that.
Yeah, it's great.
Good. Well, if you've got a patient waiting, we'll let you run, but thank you very much. You're a good friend to the company and we want to be a good friend to you.
Yeah.
So again, guys, health without wealth or wealth without health is not a good position to be. So what do they say? People work their life to get money and then they spend their money to get their health.
Exactly. Yeah. So thanks so much. I'll send you guys that gift card. Let's
Good.
get the ball rolling and get healthy.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you
If
very
send me this recording.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Angela, if you're watching, would you make sure we'll also get Taylor to do it?
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, Doc. Bye. Guys, we'll break up a little early. I got at 10 o'clock at the office. I got to run to anyway. So happy Thursday. This is a life betterment company, right? We're not just worried about making money and we want to take care of our customers and take care of ourselves. So all those are important things to keep in mind. And of course, they're a little one-sided. There's just some opinions in there, but awareness gives you flexibility gives you options, and options give you power. So that was great. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, you'll like these guys too. They're both great. All right. Happy Thursday.